So I forgot to mention this in the last video. I got ahead of myself, but you would be drawing these straight lines down there, and then where you draw in the feet is anywhere between the top of this half head and like halfway at this half head. So it depends how much of the feet you want to show. I'll move it to like kind of the medium between those two. And there we go. So feet, when you're doing foreshortening of feet, like I did for this person, it's basically like if you have a shape that's receding into the distance. Like if this were a little blah, 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 blah. If this were a rectangle and you're looking at the rectangular prism and it starts to flatten out, it's receding into the distance as it flattens out. And feet are basically that. Like you have a foot right here, right? Your toes are here. That's basically the shape of a foot. So when you are flattening the foot, because we don't really ever see, unless you're a ballerina, you don't really see the toes pointing down. You usually see the foot where the toes are flat, ankle is, as many inches deep as your foot is. So if your foot's 4.5, 6 inches, then it's going to be receding 6 inches into the distance and pretty flat. So you want to try to capture that flatness by just making these kind of little shapes, these little trapezoids. That's a trapezoid, right? Guys, I'm so bad at math, even geometry. Either way, it's this little shape. It's a little bit like a triangle when the top gets cut off. So that's the shape you're going to do for the feet. And then you have these lovely little ankles you can mark with little balls. Okay, and then depending on whether we're going to do a female figure or a male figure, you can do a female figure with these kind of rounded shapes, and you can do a male figure with these triangular shapes. So I'll start off by drawing a female figure, and then I will do a male figure next for you guys. Since I have a female here, it'll just be easier to break it down. So I'm going to grab my blue crayon and this part. So I do a big ellipse for her calves. Woo, that was a little too thick. And then a bigger ellipse for her thighs. Okay. And it's okay. We're going to make these people really thick because it's just like when Renaissance and Greek style sculpture and painting, their women were not supermodel thin like we have now. And it's not even that close to like what the presidential model of what a body's supposed to look like. So you can carve these women out however you want, make them look thinner, make them look thicker, whatever you want to do. But just don't shy away from making your person really thick. Maybe that's just me. I've always felt that way. Or I've worked with especially like young students who are like, she's too fat. And I'm like, get the fuck over it. Anyway, so then you will do another big circle for the stomach. And that's another part where we look at the heads. Like, where does the top of this circle go? We can see where the bottom of the circle is supposed to go. It's at that hip line. But the top of it is going to be at about halfway between this third head. So around there. Anywhere from the bottom of the third head to the middle part of the third head. That's where this big round part of her stomach's going to go. And then the second circle is going to be up here. And that's her chest. So 2 big circles for the chest. Sorry, 2 big circles for the chest and the abdomen, except the torso. And then we do a circle up here for the neck. That one I like to do a few different gestural lines just to get like an idea of how thick I want her neck to be. And then I can kind of edit it from there. And then 2 ellipses for her arms. So the breaking point for that is at about a little bit lower than where you put your waistline. So 1, 2, 3 heads down. It's somewhere between the lower 4th or the halfway mark in that face. That's where the little crease of the elbow is going to be, this part. That part. Okay, so at that crease, that's where this little ellipse is going to lead into this ellipse. Okay, and on this 4th head down, at a very similar, not quite halfway, not quite a quarter, but definitely not up here, definitely not, well, it could be down here. Depends how long you want to make her arms, but it's typically about here. So about a quarter of the way down the head of the 4th head, you're going to make the bottom of that ellipse. Okay. So it's just basically circle, circle, ellipse, 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 bigger ellipse, bigger ellipse, skinnier ellipse, skinnier ellipse. And then for the hands, I make a little ellipse there and a little ellipse there for this part of the hand. And then I add another little ellipse for the thumb. And the thumbs, usually when you're drawing a person, her thumbs are pointing in. They wouldn't be pointing out unless you're like Jesus and you're standing like that with your hands out to your side, going, oh. Alright, so then I draw my lips for her thumbs. And it's just basically like drawing 2 mittens. Okay, that's the basic form of the body. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll start fleshing it out in the next video.